We've just looked at contrapositives, which is a type of direct inference that you can make with any conditional statement. It's just a different way of stating the same rule. And we talked a bit about one of the reasons why you might want to use a contrapositive, and we're going to explore that more in this lesson. Here, we're learning to link two conditional statements together to infer a new third conditional statement. So it's very similar to modus ponens or modus tollens, where we have a couple pieces that come together to give us some new inference, some new piece of information. Here we have two conditional rules. The first one, we've seen this before, if Jones is going to the party, then Sullivan will go too. And then this next one says, if Sullivan goes to the party, then Macias will go too. So if you might notice, there's something common in these conditional rules, this condition of Sullivan going to the party. When you have the same conditions in the right positions within these conditional statements, you can link them up. So it might be easier to see it first if we put this in diagram form. We'll do that first statement up here. If Jones is going to the party, then Sullivan is going to the party too. And then this next one, if Sullivan is going to the party, then Macias is going to the party as well. So now you notice that those two share a term. This is going to look really natural to do here. We can just tack this rule onto the back of this. And you don't need to write the same term twice, but you could just to see it the first time you do it. These two SPs are the same thing, right? Jones party, then Sullivan party, then M party. We just combine that into one SP. So we would just have a rule like this. Jones party, then Sullivan party, then Macias party. So it's a chain, really. You're linking these conditions together to form a chain. And now if you know Jones parties, you would know via modus ponens that Sullivan's partying too, and Macias is partying as well. So say someone told you here, Jones is going to this party for sure. Well, now you can infer two pieces of information rather than just one. It sets off a chain of inferences that Sullivan's going to the party and Macias is going to the party as well. So these chains are really useful for speeding up making inferences. And if you want, you can get a new rule out of this chain. You don't need this middle term in here. I mean, it's good to know that it's there, but if we wanted to, we could make a new rule that just says, if Jones goes to the party, then Macias goes to the party as well. So just imagine, too, we could put that back into plain English if you wanted and type it out here. If Jones is going to the party, then Macias will go too. That's our new rule that we get out of that. We link the two rules together in a chain, cut out the middle term, and then we have our new conditional rule. And that's called syllogism. So now let's look at an inference that requires a few steps. And this will show you why sometimes you want to make contrapositives in the first place. So here we have two conditional statements. This one is the same as that conditional statement we just looked at, but here we've got a contrapositive of that original statement written here. So if we were diagramming these, we would put Jones party, then Sullivan party, right? Nothing changes there. But this second one is framed with negative conditions, right? So it says if Macias does not go to the party, then Sullivan does not go to the party. Now, at first, you might not see that we can chain these two together, but let's take the contrapositive of this rule, and then we get Sullivan party, then M party. And then now, you see that you can combine these two together. And then if we want to, we can again cut out the middle term and get a new rule, Jones party, then M party. So at first it maybe wasn't so obvious that we could chain these together, but if you take the contrapositive of this, then you can chain them together. You could also do it by doing the contrapositive of the first statement and chain those together. So Jones party, then Sullivan party, and then the contrapositive of that would be not Sullivan party, then not Jones party. And then that can combine with this second rule, not MP, then not SP, and then you chain them together. not MP, then not SP, then not JP. And that chain is the contrapositive, it's the reverse of the first chain we made. So, now that you know about contrapositives, you can do them in a chain form too. If you wanted to, you could convert this whole thing to this: JP, SP, then MP. So you might be getting an idea about how to play around with these rules to get new and different information out of them, to make inferences out of them. Make sure you read the text lesson. We'll look at this stuff again in slower motion in that text lesson, and then you'll be ready to move on.